Well, good day, YouTubers. I'm going to do something a little different today. This is my Taurus, and as you can see, I've got a water hose out here, and I've got my old antifreeze pretty much drained out of it. The problem I have is somebody decided to go ahead and put stop leak in the engine because it had apparently a leak in the radiator, and they replaced it, but they never flushed out this crap that's still in the engine. So I don't know if you can see in there, but you can probably see down in that reservoir, got this stop leak stuff in there. So I'm going to try to flush this out today, and I've done this a few other times on other vehicles. What I've done right now is basically, if you have a Taurus, this is how I'm doing it on this side. I disconnected the hose right there. It's got a clamp on it, ripped it apart, pulled it apart, I should say, and just let the fluid, the antifreeze, kind of just fly out of there. Now you gotta watch, it comes out pretty fast. I actually used a bigger bucket, which is sitting right there, and caught 95% of it. But you can even see in the fluid there, there's even some of that, I'm not sure what it is. It's something they use, like real fine stuff that gets into the cracks if you have a leak in your engine, and apparently stops it. But the radiator's been replaced, so I want to go ahead and flush this out. So I've got that down there, like I said, disconnected. I got the reservoir pretty much opened up, and on this side there is a heater hose. I've disconnected this. Now, the main reason I'm doing this today, flushing this engine out, is because a lot of times, if you put stop leak in an engine, it gets into your radiator core on the inside, your heater core, I should say, and you will not have much of a heater. It will block the pores, and that hot water and antifreeze can't flow back through the heater core, and you will not have much of a heater. So I'm going to go ahead and blow this out of here today. Put some water in there and take the hose to it. I'm going to try to do this on my cell phone. It may be a little difficult for me to hold the camera and do this at the same time, but I'll give you another, I'll give you a general idea how it's done as I do this. So what I got to do now is go turn the water on, and I'm going to go ahead and stick the hose, which is right here. I'm going to go ahead and do this side first, flush all this out, and let it run down, come out in the pan, and then I'll go up here and do this side, try to blow I think the flow is back through this direction. What I want to do is blow it backwards so it blows everything out of that heater core, and hopefully get it out of the engine. So that's what we're going to do. So let me go ahead and turn the water on, and we'll do this and see how it goes. All right, she's filling up there. Am I recording? Yeah, okay. So, got that in there, and there may not be a lot in there, but I just don't want to take a chance. So, yeah, the bottle's looking nice and clean now. Starting to get clean. Now, once this runs a few minutes, I'm going to, like I said, do this side over here where this heater hose is. Then, I'm going to close the system up, fill it up with just pure water, let it run a while. Then I'm going to drain that out. Well, before I drain it out, I will look at the reservoir and see if there's any more of that debris in there. Then, if it's all gone, then I'll just refill it. So now, I'll go ahead and do this side over here. See if I can just do this with my hand and camera. Yeah, it looks pretty clean. So let me go on this side now. And my yard needs the water anyway. Alright, go ahead and... there we go. Actually, I'm holding it with my hand, and I see it on the bottom down there. It's getting flushed out. Probably here, but you can't see it. It looks actually pretty clean. Let's see. I got the bucket down there. We'll look at it real quick. See if anything came out. Yeah, there's a little bit that came out. You can see it there now. Yeah, there's a little bit of debris in there. Let it run just a little bit more. Kind of hold it there. Now, they do make a kit you can buy that will clamp onto your hoses, and you can clamp it onto your garden hose. I don't have that. I'm just kind of holding that on there with my hand. So, but it looks like I've got it flushed out pretty good. I don't see much debris in there. All right, so now what I got to do next is go ahead and shut the water off. I have to go under my house and turn the water off, so I have to set this hose down and run into the house. I'm going to hook everything back up, and we're going to fill it up and let the engine run just a little bit, and hopefully get it pretty much cleaned out. Looks like it's getting pretty clean. All right, now I'm filling up everything. I got my hoses back together under here. I'll give you a good look. A lot of people don't know that connector is there. There's a clamp right there where my finger is. You unhook this clamp. I just push it back, and you can disconnect this right here and drain out your radiator. I've just got I just got it on there just to hold the water in the radiator, and I've got my hose down there on. Now I'm just going to let it fill up. I'm going to go in and start it up, and we'll let it run a little bit and get this engine flushed out. There it goes back down. It may be a little noisy because I got that air cleaner off. There we go. That'll help a little bit. And it's just about full. I don't know if you can see it right there. There it is. Cool. Now what I'm going to do is just let it run a little bit and see if this reservoir is clean. Yeah, it looks pretty good in there. It looks like it was a lot better than it was, I'll tell you that. So we'll let this run just a little bit, let it circulate through the engine real good. We'll drain it back out, and then we'll just put antifreeze back in it, and we'll be done. So this is how you can typically do this if you have a car that has a lot of this stop leak in it, radiator stop leak that people put in your vehicles. Hopefully if you do this, you're not opening up a can of worms. You won't find a leak that was already there and they didn't tell you about, so just be aware of that. But I know my leak was fixed because, like I said, they replaced the radiator on it, and I put 4,000 miles on this. It's never lost a bit of antifreeze. So, all right, we'll let this run here a few minutes, and I'll give you the diagnosis and let you know what I think as we're just about done here. Nice thing is it's about 95 degrees out here, so a little water actually feels good on my hands today. Just one more look at it. Yep, it's pretty good. Nice and a lot cleaner than it was. All right, everything looked pretty good. I tell you what I did. I went on ahead and drained it out one more time there, but I found another hose on this side that goes into the heater core. So I decided to go ahead and blow it out too, and I couldn't find a hose that would fit on there. Here's the hose I took off. Didn't have anything that size, so I think I can just take this water hose and just put it on there, flush it out that way. Ooh, a little hot there. There we go. You gotta be careful because the engine is still a little warm. You could get exciting. And I hear it coming out on the bottom now. So I know that heater core is unplugged, which is a good thing. There we go. I know, kids in Africa could drink that water. I've heard it all. And I'll let it run here just for maybe another 30 seconds. And I think I've got this engine pretty clean. And you can see down the tank, it's nice and clean now. It's not like it was before with all that crap in there. I'll flush this out a little bit more. And all I got to do now is go get my antifreeze put back in it. This car, by the way, takes this orange antifreeze. Some take the green, some take the orange. This one just takes the orange. And it looks like we're just about done. And what I'll do, I'll go ahead and fill it up with antifreeze and give you one last look. But that's basically how you want to do this if you're going to flush out your engine. like I said, they make a kit for these hoses that you can hook onto the engine. Now, my car does not have access to the radiator. It's buried. The only access you have is right here at this tank. So that's why I'm working up here, unfortunately. And make sure you unhook the bottom hose, if you can, on that radiator, because you got to really get into the lowest point of that radiator to get all that crap out of there. So, all right, well, we'll let this run here for another 30 seconds. I'll go ahead and put the antifreeze back in, and we'll take one last look at it and wrap this up. All right, I got a little bit of a change of plans here, folks. I got to looking. By the way, I'm letting the car run. I'm going to let this flush out one more time because I still had a little bit of debris in there, stop leak, whatever, so it's just about all out. But I got to looking at this antifreeze that I took out and didn't look right. And it turns out this particular model, this year, 01 Taurus, is supposed to have the green antifreeze in it. And this has got some kind of rusty looking stuff. Someone's probably mixed it. So here's what I'm going to actually put in it. I want to put the green stuff back in because that's what the chart calls for through Ford Motor Company. And we'll let this drain here for run for a second here, and I'll show you this chart real quick, what I'm talking about. Now here's the chart I'm talking about. If I go to the top, you can see 2001, 2002, and if I go all the way to the bottom where it says Taurus, it's supposed to take the green antifreeze. And if you go all the way at the bottom, it gets a little more technical. It talks about dark green colored engine coolant for Ford motor specifications. So you got to kind of do your research depending on what car you got. But this is what got me. And the 2002 on up takes the yellow antifreeze in. You go into the orange. So the whole point of this is because different antifreezes, it's a battle between the engine, the inside of the engine, and the antifreeze for rust corrosion, and also smaller engines. Some tend to run a little hot, and you can see the boiling point of some of this antifreeze, 265 degrees. That's pretty high. So that helps protect your engine, and some of the antifreeze goes down to 84 below zero, protects your engine. So just do your research on a particular car you got so you'll know what type of antifreeze to put in. And I will put a link at the bottom of my video for Ford, and for your other vehicles you'll just have to do some research. So let's go back outside and finish up. Alright, I'm pretty happy. I've got it pretty clean, and you can see looking down in there, hardly any debris. But that stop leak they put in there for your radiator leaks and so forth, it's really tough to get out, but I got 95% of it out. So now all I'm going to do is pull this plug on the bottom of the engine right here. Well, not a plug, it's just a hose, and just let it drain out. Then I'll go ahead and put my green antifreeze in, and I should be okay. So once I get the green antifreeze in, give you one last look at it, and basically it's the same. This is the same process for just about any vehicle, and this will get your engine flushed out. And it's always a good idea to check, because the inside of these engines, the radiators, the heater cores, they do rust, and they're always trying to figure out a way to put the best antifreeze in these vehicles. So if you have to change your antifreeze when you want to flush your engine out, this is gives you some idea how to do it. All right, let me go ahead and put this green antifreeze in, and we'll wrap this video up. Alright, I got my green antifreeze in there. I'm going to have to recycle that crap. It's pretty much no good. And it's running. And you can see in the cap, it's really good. Nice and green. And I don't see hardly any of that radiator stop leak in there no more. And one other note is, when you go to take this off, it's hot. I was never a fan of these, but I've actually gotten used to it, and I think it's a lot safer than having a radiator cap. Just gently back this off and let the pressure off if your engine's hot. Alright, and one more nice look at it, and this should get me through. And also, if you live in a really, really cold climate where it gets below zero a lot, you may have to go to 100% mix of antifreeze, but where I live, 50-50 is okay. Sometimes it gets below zero, but not too often or not too long. Let me shut this off. And one other thing I will tell you, if you have heater problems still, check at the bottom, make sure your vacuum lines aren't disconnected if you have a vacuum leak, because I've seen cases where you turn the heater on And if you have a vacuum leak, that flapper will slowly back off. That controls the heat vent heating system, that splits the air from cold to hot, will back off. And it will allow cold air eventually come back in. So you may have to do some tinkering under here and make sure there's nothing really weird going on. But other than that, I haven't had any other problems. And my main concern was, from the beginning of this video, was to get that stop leak out of there, that radiator stop leak that someone had shoved in there. So I'm pretty good, and I guess be about the end of the video. So it looks really good in there, and hopefully this will help you guys out if you decide to do this. And like I said, be safe and make sure your engine's not terribly hot when you do this. So the process is about the same for any vehicle. And go out and buy a kit if you have to for your hoses, and do some research to make sure you get the right antifreeze in, and it should work out for you. All right, that's the end of the video on this beautiful late September Saturday. I can feel it, fall's coming. I'll be kind of excited to have some cool weather for a change. All right, well, that's the end of the video, guys. Any questions, comments, give me a thumbs up, whatever. But most importantly, be safe and be careful. Later.